All right, we are back. Ken Wingard is here, and standing next to him, the winner of our Home and Family Ultimate Craft Off.
Who knew?
Amber Kemp-Gerstel.
I'm so excited, you guys. This is bananas.
All I want to do is just have you give me some lotto numbers because you're so lucky.
I'm going to play the lotto.
Yeah,
You're right.
you should. You really should. You guys are getting together. You're going to put together, a really wonderful DIY project here. Why did you vote for her? Or why? What did you see?
I don't know. I did. I adore. Well,
what did you see?
There are two things that I really like about Amber. One is that she's a viewer. She's a mom at home who views, who crafts on her spare time. She is like when I'm talking to the camera, when I'm talking out there, I'm talking to you, to
Absolutely.
who you personify. So that made me happy. And your projects, I thought your projects had a way of taking things that were very traditional, like the picnic box and the pencils, and giving them a really modern sort of current flair that could work because our viewers are everywhere. So you've got sort of a house in sort of rural America. You've got someone in a New York apartment,
Right.
and I think that they sort of spanned.
And you're from
everything.
Miami.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. I like to give things a little modern twist so everyone can see that, yes, crafting makes sense for me.
Right.
And this is something I can do.
And that's exactly what you guys are doing today. You're taking something and giving it a modern twist with a bunch of shims.
Shims!
I like to say that word,
Trend
shims.
update. I'm going to call it. We're breaking now a trend update.
That's right.
A trend update.
Yeah, it's just
We
a
have-
very trendy thing, right?
Footage of what it looked like.
Yeah,
when you
so
got
I know
started.
everyone has seen this before. It's always in the background. I think seriously we did this first half of season 1. It was an old dresser. It looks
remember
great.
that.
It looked great.
It looked great then.
It was in the craft
but
room.
it's
I
gotten
remember it.
4 years of us setting things on it, bumping into
Yeah.
it. It's full of
Yeah.
ribbon and crepe paper. So decided let's update it. This shows you that you can continually update things. Do a project, let it last for a few years, do it again.
Yeah.
All right.
How did you use the shims?
Well, we're going to show you.
And why the shims?
But look at her. She's like, well, I'm
We're
going
going to show you. But the shims are just so inexpensive. You can go to the hardware store and pick up a pack of these for what,
So that was $250.
Exactly.
$250
And so
for
these
12.
are readily available, really inexpensive. And you see here, they are, they kind of go from high to low, and they're usually used to kind of even out things. So if something's a little off kilter, that's what you use them for. That's not what we're using them
Sorry,
for.
cattywampus.
Oh,
Unless you're younger, then it's kitty wampus.
cattywampus.
Or you could use it
Let's
for
look
door
at you
stop.
guys and what you did earlier today to this dresser.
So you're gonna gather up all of your supplies, and then you're gonna take your dresser and start painting it. And if you have a friend named Ken, go ahead and ask him to help you out. Next thing you're gonna do is mark the center point of the drawer front. And that's where you're gonna start laying out your shims.
Now, you don't want to use nails on this because you don't want any holes in the front, so use wood glue. Lay down a thick bead all the way across, find that center mark, and line up the thick end of the shim on that, and then just do thick side to thin side, thick side to thin side. Come back, find the middle of one shim, and put your next thick side, lay your bead of glue, and then once you've done those two measurements, everything else just sort of goes right along. Glue, shim, glue, shim, glue. It starts going really fast once you start it. Very, very
Really
fast.
Well, you guys have really
And
synced
there
up.
you go.
Next thing you wanna do is grab your drill, and from the inside out, start drilling holes. That's where your knobs are gonna go. The last thing we did was we wanted to make sure we protected this from all those kid handprints and all the wear and tear. So lay down a layer of polyurethane, just a thin layer, and that will protect it from everyday use. And there you have it.
Great.
Then you give a high five.
High fives all around.
But here's the thing. The shims are now hanging
Right, because
over.
they're not going to line up, so you need to trim them. But before we do that, I just want to talk just for a second about the sort of lack of color, because people have asked, are you going to stain it? Are you going to paint it? I think the beauty of these shims is the natural wood. So many things are artificial these days. So when you find this wood, it's great. And I think to stain it, sometimes when you stain things, it actually cheapens it. So
I agree.
to really get a sort of high-end, modern Danish look, leave it raw, put the clear coat on to protect it from,
So you want to protect it, not when you say leave it.
Exactly,
Okay.
but leave that natural wood.
Sure.
Now, I'm just going to use our battery-powered circular saw. You could also use a jigsaw. You could use a hand saw. And you're just going to, super easy, line up the blade with the edge of the drawer and
Wow.
there you go.
Well, I'm glad you put on the protective eyewear. Next time we should ask the cameraman to also put on the protective eyewear. FYI.
All right, you want to take over there, Amber?
Yeah, so the last thing we're gonna do is just add the knobs. And because we added those holes right through the front, all you need to do is poke it right through the front and twist it on. And once you've got it going, you can grab a drill or even just a screwdriver.
I would
from
have
your
done
home.
something like, just get a wooden knob. But
Oh,
I
these
like
pop
that.
though, right?
These are, it really gives it a
Yeah.
modernish feel, that the metal.
Yeah, the knob that you choose is all up to you. It's all about your style, and that's a really good way to personalize it.
And just a couple of procedural notes. If you're actually doing this, we did a certain way for the show, but I would actually saw it first, sand the edges, and then put on your clear coat.
I see what you saw.
That looks so cool, and I love the
Like-
orange. That's such a great juxtaposition. I don't think it would have looked as nice if it was stained. How
It's
much did this
really-
cost?
It costs like $40, under $40. So those are serious.
Really? Was the
yeah,
paint and that-
yeah.
that was-
And that's if you went out and bought paint and bought hardware. But look how fancy it looks.
Wow.
This is like a whole like West Elm like $600
It is.
dresser.
No, you're not kidding. It
Did
really
you? What was
is.
it? The money you had left over from your?
And we still have money left.
Yeah.
We're getting cocktails